creating stacked walls. Prior to doing that, though, we're going to recap creating custom wall types, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. So let's get started. Within Revit, I'm going to create a new wall using the wall command, and then I'm going to edit the type of the wall I'm going to insert. From here, I'm going to select a type that is similar to the type of wall I want to create, which in this case, I'm going to start with a generic 12-inch. I'm going to duplicate the wall. I'm going to call it 16-inch concrete, because that's the type of wall I want to create. I'm going to edit its structure, change the material from by category to concrete. Select cast in place is fine. I'm going to adjust the thickness from 1 foot to 16 inches and click OK. And then click OK, and you'll notice, just like we did in the last video, I can place the wall wherever I want, and it exists in my Revit project. Hop over to 3D and be able to see it with the materials and everything. Okay, perfect. Now let's create a stacked wall. A stacked wall is nothing more than 2 or more different wall types stacked on top of each other. To create one, the process starts exactly the same as creating custom wall type. You click Edit Type, and instead of having the basic wall family selected, you click the drop down and select Stacked Walls. In most Revit templates, you only have 1 to pick from, so it's unlike the basic wall one where you might have 8 to 10. Doesn't matter though, because I'm just going to leave the current type selected, click Duplicate, and I'm going to call this one a 16-inch to 12-inch concrete. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to edit the structure just like I would with the basic wall type. And here I have a table which tells me the various wall types that are going to be stacked. If you don't see the preview, you can enable it using the preview button, just like you did when you were creating a custom wall type. And for this example, make sure you're in section view so you can see the stacked. Okay, so you can see right now I have 2 layers. One is called exterior brick on metal stud, and another layer is called exterior on CMU on metal stud. Now, what I want is I want the bottom to be 16-inch concrete. So I'm going to scroll down to my 16-inch concrete that I made. And the top, I don't think I have a 12-inch concrete option. Oh, I do. Yeah, 12-inch concrete. So I'm going to select that. Okay, and now you can see in the preview that I have 2 different wall types stacked on top of each other. So let's talk about some of these different options. If I wanted to add additional stacked layers, I could use the Insert button here, and then that would add another layer, click the drop down to select a different type. If I wanted to remove it, I just select Delete. I also have these up and down buttons here to move a certain layer up or down in the stack. The last button is the variable button here. You'll notice in the height column, I have a value for variable for the top layer and a value of 3 foot for the bottom layer. This option didn't exist when we were creating our basic walls, and there's a good reason for that. When you're creating a basic wall, when you insert it into Revit, you know that's where you define the height. You can either set an unconnected height or connect it to one of your levels. However, with a stacked wall, a element has to have a predefined height, and then there needs to be another component that's adjustable, just like a basic wall or variable. In this case, the bottom layer is set to 3 feet, meaning the bottom layer will go up for 3 feet, and then the top portion will dynamically adjust to whatever the height of the wall is at the time of insertion. If I wanted the bottom to be the variable layer height, I would simply select it and then click the variable button. And now the bottom will adjust to whatever height my wall is that I'm inserting minus 3 feet, as that's reserved for the top layer. The next column is offset, and this allows you to offset the top or the bottom layer relative to the other layers in your set. Of course, I can change what is used for the offset with this drop down here. I can change it to the wall center line, core center line, finished face, exterior and interior, core face, exterior or interior. I'm going to leave it as center line. You'll notice that if I change the offset of the bottom to -2 inches, in this case, the back or the interior of the walls are aligned, and if I change it to +2 inches, the exterior of the wall are now aligned. Depending on how you want your walls to stack and how you want them to be offsetted relative to each other, you can change this value as required. Lastly, if these walls had multiple layers in them, not stacked layers, but layers such as plywood, metal studs, air, etc., I could flip them with this little flip checkbox. And that's how you create custom stacked walls. Now when I click OK to accept it, click OK on my type properties, you'll notice it's selected over here in properties. I click a few points to draw, hop over into 3D, and now I can see my stacked wall.